are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights.
What's good and what up? It's your brother SamAnt. Here at Viral Hip Hop News. Do me a favor, family, before we get started with the content. Y'all know what to do. Go up top and hit that like button. Alright, so we're about 6 days removed from the unfortunate passing of Nipsey Hussle. Los Angeles is feeling the effects, as well as the world, of the passing of this man and the effects and the impact that he's made on his community. I think everyone was in shock. Everyone was very hurt to hear the news last week. We've seen celebrity after celebrity come out showing their support and giving their condolences in memory to a man who lived an exceptional life way beyond the studio, way beyond the rap game. We're out here celebrating and talk about this man's life way more than his music, and that needs to be celebrated. So I want to talk about the more positive things involving Nipsey Hussle, in particular when people come out and say things in regards to his memory. And of course, Paul Mooney being a legend, Paul Mooney being a favorite of this channel, Viral Hip Hop News. When he says something, especially when it has something to do with an impactful situation, I love to share it with the people to get their perspective. And he shared his thoughts on Nipsey Hussle today via Twitter. And here's what he said. I knew Nipsey Russell, and now I know of Nipsey Hussle. Amazing, two great men. That young, brilliant man, prayers to all he loved and those who love and learn about him. We all know Paul Mooney is an absolute legend, an OG in this game, Hall of Fame comedic writer, Hall of Fame comedian. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. And anytime he jumps on Twitter, anytime he has a soundbite or anything, I love to go and reference it and speak on it, because the man is just filled with so much wisdom. And to speak on Nipsey Russell, first off, an incredible actor, comedian, a legend in his own right, died maybe 10, 12 years ago now. And just to know that the work that he's done, and to know that Paul Mooney knew men like Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor, Nipsey Russell, and now can learn and see legacies, although be it unfortunate passings coming behind it, he can look at a young man's legacy and see that he made an absolute impact out here in the world, enough for him to go ahead and pay homage. And maybe not knowing him directly, maybe not having conversation with him face to face per se, but just to see the outpouring and the memory that this man left at 33 years of age in his community, throughout the world, the philanthropic work he was doing, the things that he was doing for his city, and the knowledge that he was trying to gain amongst his people. It's legendary. It goes without saying. It should be applauded. It should be appreciated. So salute to Paul Mooney for taking the time out to share his thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think or interpret how Paul Mooney gave his testimony in regards to Nipsey Hussle's life. And make sure you stay tuned to the back end of this video and listen to Hip Hop Motivation CEO Kenyatta Griggs. Had a powerful discussion with that brother yesterday on the Uncensored podcast live Friday evening, where he spoke about his friend Nipsey Hussle for about an hour. Here's a little bit of what he spoke about. Make sure you hit that like.
To see that hurts, that affects us. Just like when you slaughter another animal in front of an animal, they're affected by that. That fear gets in their heart, and they understand that sorrow lowers your vibration. And it's only right that you feel bad for what happened, but understand that you have to continue to move forward and just take in everything that he said and ask for the vibration that he had. If you want to go into business and you want to do things for your community, continue to ask for that information and that vibration that Nipsey put forward, and you can have it, because we're all connected to the same source energy. So you can have whatever it is you desire, period.
Absolutely. When you think about when you heard about the Chris Darden factor, when you heard about this guy being represented, I know you were around for the OJ Simpson, case. Did that kind of like, was, I don't want to use that word, but was that more disrespectful, to you and people in LA? Could you speak on that factor?
Absolutely, it was disrespectful to see Christopher Darden representing that piece of shit. You see what I'm saying? And so I talked to Tariq Nasheed about it last night, and he had the same sentiment. It's ridiculous. It's basically like them saying nanny, That's what it's like. It's like some kid shit, man. It's like, here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to see what you're doing that, what you're going to do now, and so, and regardless to what's going on, it just has to be a plan of understanding, going back into a true knowledge of self, because at the end of the day, death is promised to everybody. You can't escape it. We all have a date. It's not something that most of us look forward to, of course, but you have to keep in mind that, killing you and doing certain things, killing this guy wasn't the worst really that could happen to him. His family misses him, and it's unfortunate how it happened, but he's stronger than ever because the energy still exists. There's no such thing as death as we know it. You're just free from the prison of the body. He is now free, and his energy and everything he represented is there for us to pay attention to, the same as all of our ancestors that passed before us, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. So if you think we feel this way about Nipsey Hussle, imagine how our people felt back in the day when people like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X and all these great people died as well. It's a horrible thing, man. It's horrible, man. I did not like seeing that at all. That troubled my soul because I know him. I know what he represents. He wasn't a bullshit person, man, at all.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. That happened last Sunday, and God and I, we take the weekend off and we chilling with the family and doing our thing. And we usually vibe or talk from time to time. But when does that happen? We ain't say a word to each other. And we still ain't really talked on it, but I already know internally what we were feeling. And then just day by day when we had to talk about it, it wasn't easy to do because, like you said, it's a very, very touchy subject. Even if we didn't know the man personally, but we often talked about him like we talked about on the podcast all week on how we couldn't wait to talk to get time to have a conversation with the man because we love what he represented, the entrepreneurship, the doing for self, to going out here and to forward your thinking and just everything that the man represented, we have respect for. And when he did certain interviews, you can recognize it's real and you can see that. So we were looking forward to extending our hand and having a conversation with that man, even though we didn't unfortunately have time to do so.
And you felt the energy. You felt that energy, man, whenever you saw his interviews. You definitely have to agree to that. Like, you felt his energy and you knew that he was a stand-up guy because he was a giver, and that's what this life is all about. Whatever date you have and whatever you pass your form, we don't know, because the day Nipsey died, there was a 5-year-old that passed. I'm sure there was 1-year-olds that passed. There were 80-year-olds, and it's like, we don't know when that date will be. But the name of the game is to be a continuous giver. You have to understand that giving is the element that circulates peace, love, unity, and all those beautiful things that we desire to have. First be a giver, give to yourself so you can give to others and circulate peace.
Kenyatta, talk about him staying where he lived and doing business out of there, because there was a lot of conversation on whether or not he should have left and things like that. And we talked about it a lot on here. What's your opinion on that? Still, living where you live and being there and still doing business out of there. Talk on that perspective.
I definitely, initially when he was, first, when they were running the businesses and doing their thing, I thought it was okay. But as far as him, as he started to grow in business and fame, I always had a feeling like, maybe it should be like he should really tread lightly of going over there as much. Because I know the element of jealousy is heavy in all communities, especially impoverished communities, and so whenever you got a guy that is famous and he's doing this thing and somebody comes up to him and asks him to help me get my demo, help me listen to my demo and get me on and help me. And you might deny these people help. I know that can turn into a problem any day, as we all know, because the hood is full of people in the dark. And so when you're around so many people that are truly in the dark, you have to be careful, in a lot of different ways, because these people being jealous of you, they want to hurt you because they're in pain. A lot of people that are in pain want to commit and cause pain to other people. And so I always felt like there should have been a little more protection of him when he was at the store, because there were times I saw him at the store and he really didn't have anybody with him. Like the day I saw him with Lauren London at Simply Wholesome, he was just in the hood chilling, but it's hard to tell somebody that when you grow up in the area, man. Like I'm sure with you guys, you guys grew up in a certain area and you probably still go to a certain liquor store that people got killed in or killed in front of. And it's just normal to you to be in that area. And it was just a normal thing for him to be in that area. But at the same time, I was a little disappointed that it happened the way it did, and he didn't have any of his crew around him to stop the guy, you know. And it was just, and from what I found out is that none of them knew that he was going to be up there that day. He just made a little quick run to his store, like a lot of us would do if we had a business, and he was on his way back home. He wasn't like, you know, it was just like, I'm gonna go up here and look out for my homie, that homeboy that just got out of jail. That's what he was doing. And he didn't make it back. You know, he didn't survive. So, you know, it's just unfortunate, man. But, you know, it's a hard thing. It's a hard pill to swallow, because yes, you definitely want to continue to do business in the hood, but you just got to be careful, man. Like, I had a shop, like I said, for over 18 years on Crenshaw. I had a few situations over there, you know, nothing as major as what happened to Nipsey, but you know, it's a certain element when you're in the hood, man. We all can agree to that. It's a certain element.
Definitely. I want to ask you, real quick about there's been several reports that Nipsey Hussle may have feared for his life, days beforehand. Mm-hmm. They said it was like a video shoot down there where, they had to beef up security. What did that stem from? Do you know about that whole situation? Did that have anything tied in with the other situation with Holder, or no?
No, I don't know anything too much about that one, but I know that, I understand like the hood element of it, what I'm saying? He was from Rolling 60s. Right. And, Rolling 60s have their own, separate beefs with different gangs and different people. And, it's no telling, man. It's no telling what he was going through days before the situation. I didn't hear much about that. I kind of lightly, but nothing, because he did a video with DJ Khaled. I knew about that. But, it's no telling, man. It's no telling. And it's, right now it's just, it's so many different conspiracy theories and stories about this situation. But more than anything else, I really feel like people should embrace the legacy he left behind and don't allow the distractions of the conspiracy theories pull you into more sorrow and pain. It's really for you to look at the different techniques he used to come up and different things that he did to take care of his family, and apply those to yourself, apply those to your life. Because again, we all have a date. We don't know what that date is, but while you're here on earth, do the best you can with what you have to take care of yourself as well as your family.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Kenyatta, I don't know if the people listening right now heard our various interviews, but in one particular interview, you talked about how you fell victim of a random act of violence, and you fell victim and being shot and was fighting for your life in the middle of the street, and gave us a detailed story. And you see an incident like this with Nipsey, and you heard the testimony from his brother talking how he got shot once, and then dude ran off, and then came back and shot twice, ran off, and then came back. In your honest estimation, was this a random act of violence to you, or something more? And just give a little more context to what, in your estimation, you think it was involved. Was it the fact that he was jealous and enraged? Do you feel like it was something deeper, and he was maybe just what you thinking?
I definitely feel like there was more to this. When I saw Vector, I knew he was doing something next level. When I heard about the Dr. Sebi's documentary being developed, I was like, wow, this guy's going deep. All the businesses within the hood, he had just bought a fish restaurant next door to the Marathon store. It was like, it was a fish restaurant back in the day called Sloss and Fish, but now it's called Babalu's. He was opening that up. He had the barbershop. He was loading up on different businesses around the community. And then he was supposed to meet with the LAPD Monday, at the day after he got shot, which let me know even more. Definitely it was a deeper situation, because this guy was trying to make a difference, and he was trying to make a difference based on waking people up to the reality that we need unity within the community. And so for us to unify for the others, that's a dangerous game, because then it becomes hard for them to manipulate us and pull us into destruction of killing ourselves. And so they have to keep us separate in order to control us, especially in a place like Los Angeles where there's so many gangs and so many different territories and so many different beefs over old past situations from the 80s and sometimes the 70s from certain gangs, like between Hoover and 60s. So I've always heard stories of cops planting guns and killing certain people from rival hoods and saying it's somebody from another hood that's rival to them. So this is not something that I look at being a random act. I look at this as definitely being orchestrated by some unseen hands, most definitely.
Right.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.